Be a grown-up. But the more she talks, the more I'm like, oh, now I get it. Like Mariah Carey, who Megyn is calling a diva, turns to her and says, you've had diva moments too. And she's so wounded that she later says she began sweating and realized her girl crush might be over and was only able to move past it once Mariah clarified that she meant it as a compliment and was speaking about Megyn's looks. I threw up a little in my...
Meghan Markle thought she was about to dazzle the world, sashaying into the spotlight like she was auditioning for Dancing with the Stars. Instead, she tripped over her own hype and served a steaming platter of secondhand embarrassment that left audiences gagging. Picture her, the ex-royal with a Netflix deal, trying to channel Hollywood glamour but landing squarely in a reality TV blooper reel. And who's watching from the front row, munching popcorn with a flamethrower in hand? None other than Megyn Kelly, the sharp-tongued commentator ready to barbecue Megyn's ego with a side of sarcasm.
Here's the problem. We don't like you, Meghan Markle. We don't like you. And no amount of posting videos that you think are going to humanize you will make us like you. You've already shown us your true colors. We know who you are. You helped kill the Queen. You didn't give two shits about calling the royal family racist while Prince Philip was on his deathbed and casting aspersions on him. You have completely undermined all the amazing gifts that this family has given you as nothing and suggested that they didn't care you were suicidal and they were the ones who...
This drama's messier than Prince Harry's last attempt at a family Zoom call. Think awkward silences, shady side eyes, and 10 times the laughs. Social media, especially X, lit up with memes tearing into Meghan's latest misstep, with users like a Tribes Britannia calling it another flop in the Markle saga.
Bullied virtually everybody who's ever worked for her. She can't keep a staff in London. She can't keep a staff in Montecito. She's a bully. She's obsessed with her own ego, face on television, etc., and playing the victim. So no amount of humanizing videos, even if she managed to find one, are going to work. You know, if you actually are a good person, you don't show up at the Uvalde mass school shooting and put yourself on camera and make it about you. You don't see photo op when you see dead children, which she did. So spare us the attempt, okay? It's a waste of everybody's second.
Buckle up, because this one's a wild, cringe-fueled ride. Let's cut to the chase. The public's done with Meghan Markle. No amount of carefully curated Instagram reels or relatable TikTok dances will flip the script. She's shown her true colors, painting the royal family as racist while Prince Philip was literally on his deathbed, dragging Queen Elizabeth's legacy through the Montecito mud. X posts from users like Candid Coverage in 2025 scream, "She's a fraud," echoing a sentiment that Meghan's betrayed the monarchy's gift.
Meghan Markle posted a bizarre video on her social media yesterday, which sent several people into absolute meltdown. It is the cringiest, most uncomfortable piece of tape I've seen in a long time. I'm sorry, but I'm going to make you watch it. SOT 24.
1 month, 2 months, 3 months, hit the baby mama when I step into the door.
She's supposedly 9 months pregnant in the hospital room, dancing with a big belly. Harry's there too. She's kind of twerking. She's gonna twerk. Here comes Harry. She spreads her legs. She hikes her dress. She circles her around and around. Okay. This is deeply problematic on a number of levels.
Titles, global stage adoration for a self-serving victim narrative. She's claimed the royals drove her to suicidal thoughts, but critics aren't buying it, pointing to her Oprah interview as a calculated bombshell. Her attempts to humanize herself, think soft-focused Netflix clips or podcast sob stories, feel like desperate PR ploys. The verdict? We see you, Meghan, and we're not impressed. Keeping up with Meghan's PR train wrecks is like chasing a runaway clown car. 1 minute she's reinventing herself as an activist, dropping buzzwords like equity at charity galas. The next she's playing podcast princess on Confessions of a Female Founder, dishing out misunderstood Duchess vibes that make listeners wince. Her latest stunt, a public appearance so awkward it had people cringing harder than at a bad karaoke night. Sources like a 2025 US Sun article list her ventures, like the failed Spotify deal or her struggling as ever brand, as a collection of business disasters.
For everybody. Secondly, like the gross disrespect to the intimacy and privacy of marriage and childbirth. You know, there are some moments that are supposed to be between a husband and a wife only. And the moments before you give birth to your child is one of them. When you are together in that room and your child is coming. And maybe you do have a fun moment. This is not how I spent my moments before giving birth, but maybe you do have a fun moment. But it's private. It's actually holy. And for her to need to make it into an ego trip, which she's clearly doing. Look at me dancing. I'm still fun and I'm sexy and I have this great marriage. And here's Harry being like a normal guy is disrespectful.
Staff turnover? Legendary. She's allegedly bullied aides from Buckingham Palace to Montecito, with reports of a toxic work environment resurfacing in 2025, yet she plays the victim, whining about media scrutiny while chasing every camera. Meghan's ego is a full-time job, and she's clocking overtime. If you want to know why people call Meghan tone-deaf, look no further than her Uvalde stunt. In 2022, after the tragic school shooting, she rolled up to the memorial with cameras in tow, turning a moment of collective grief into a Meghan Markle photo op, dead children, and she's posing like it's a Vogue shoot. Ex-users like Royal Tea-Spill in 2025 still drag her for it, calling it shameless self-promotion. Supporters claim she was showing empathy, but critics argue she made a community's pain about her brand as a humanitarian goddess.
Dragged him away from the monarchy, which bestowed those titles on them, and has now ruthlessly with him exploited those titles for massive personal gain. And I think it's disgusting and hypocritical. They shouldn't be allowed to do it. I hope that King Charles, who obviously is massively distracted by his illness, but I hope that King Charles at some stage just has that conversation and says, you can't keep the titles, I'm sorry, but you can't keep demeaning the status of being a member of the royal family and attacking the family and the monarchy and retain your titles. You can just be Harry and Meghan. And see how you get on, by the way, when you're no longer royals. Because the answer is not very...
No amount of authentic Netflix episodes or Instagram apologies can scrub that stain. It's the kind of move that screams, I care about humanity, look at me, and leaves everyone else feeling gross. Meghan decided to elevate her vulnerable humanitarian brand to new levels of cringe at a 2025 event, possibly the Time 100 Summit or a New York charity installation. She strutted in, grinning like she'd just solved world hunger by tweeting a hashtag. Clutching a $5,000 designer bag, she dusted off a vaguely British accent that sounded like Siri doing a Kate Middleton impression. The event was overhyped, with PR teams hyping her as a global icon, but she flopped harder than Harry trying to remember which fork to use at a state dinner. X-post from April 2025 mocked her for stealing the spotlight from the cause, with a gossip guru quipping, Meghan's here to save the world, one selfie at a time. The crowd was visibly checked out, scrolling their phones to avoid the awkwardness. Let's pause for the outfit. Meghan's ensemble was a masterclass in try-hard, budget Hollywood cosplay meets royal fantasy camp, slathered in so much beige it made a manila envelope look like a rainbow. Think $10,000 worth of neutral tones screaming, I'm relatable, while whispering, I'm still a duchess. The cameras naturally were glued to her, ignoring the actual focus of the event, whether it was kids in need or climate change. Ex-users like Fashion Flop roasted her look, comparing it to a rejected Oscar de la Renta sketch. Nothing says humanitarian like turning a charity gala into your personal runway. Meghan, honey, the world's not your catwalk, and beige isn't a personality. Then there's the Mariah Carey train wreck. On her podcast, Meghan got called out by her girl crush for having diva moments. Cue Meghan sweating buckets, later whining that her ego was bruised until Mariah clarified it was about her looks. Barf. A 2025 X-post from Dial Pop Culture Shade summed it up. Meghan can't handle a single critique without a meltdown. Her obsession with being adored is next level. She's less a duchess and more a walking Yelp review of her own life. The fact that she spun this into a poor me narrative just proves she's allergic to accountability. It's the kind of second-hand embarrassment that makes you want to change the channel.
Why was she out that night, Miss Princess of Privacy? Because she wanted to accept yet another award from some far-left liberal, Gloria Steinem, supposedly the mother to us all. Oh, unless you actually don't believe on abortion on demand until the 9th month of pregnancy. So she wanted to give Meghan Markle an award, a Vision Award. You know what the award praised? I'll read it to you. They were thrilled to recognize Meghan's strength and resilience, critical to building a better world for our children. Her strength and resilience? What are you talking about? She had her PR people turn a little paparazzi attempt at getting her picture into a near catastrophe, asking everyone to feel sorry for her. She doesn't know the meaning of those words, strength and resilience. I certainly don't want my children looking to her for an example of any of that.
When Megyn opened her mouth, out poured a word salad so vacuous it could star in a Tupperware ad labeled Pure Air. Empowerment, connection, courage, community. She rattled off 14 LinkedIn-friendly buzzwords like a malfunctioning motivational bot. Her speech, possibly at a 2025 New York event, was described in a Guardian piece as fluent buzzword, lacking a single complete idea. It was like watching a Pinterest board try to deliver a TED Talk with the passion of a soggy napkin. Ex-users like Word Salad Watch mocked her for copy-pasting a 2012 PowerPoint. Megyn's rhetoric is a masterclass in saying nothing while sounding profound. Too bad the audience wasn't fooled. No Meghan Markle moment is complete without her banging on about her journey. At this event, she waxed poetic about her spiritual growth, a pilgrimage through the treacherous terrain of organic skincare trials and matching yoga sets. This epic quest, she implied, began in her Montecito mansion's walk-in closet and ended at a Pinterest board titled Healing Through Designer Heels. Ex-posts from May 2025, like one from Der Satire Century, called it self-obsessed drivel. She wants us to believe she's battled cosmic hardships, but the Dalai Lama himself would have said, pass. Her journey's less inspiring than a Goop newsletter and twice as pretentious. Meghan and Harry have milked their royal titles for every dime, all while trashing the monarchy that gave them. It's hypocritical, and it's disgusting. They dragged the royal family through the mud, Oprah interviews, Netflix exposés, Harry's memoir, and still wave their Duke and Duchess credentials like a VIP pass. A 2025 ex-post from our royal rant demanded King Charles strip their titles, arguing, you can't attack the institution and keep the perks. With Charles battling health issues per a BBC report, he's distracted, but the call's growing louder. Drop the titles. Let just Harry and Meghan see how far their Netflix deals carry them without the royal glow. Spoiler, not far. Meghan's insurmountable challenges are the stuff of satire. She's framed her life as a gauntlet of emotional glass, but her biggest struggles, perfecting a vegan smoothie recipe and choosing between a Caribbean or South France vacation. A 2025 US Sun piece mocked her as Everbrand's focus on lifestyle fluff like artisanal jam. She claims she's crawled through trauma, but really, she tripped over a Birkin bag and called it a crisis. Her speeches about resilience, like one at a 2025 Women's Summit, are delivered while an assistant holds her umbrella. Ex-users like Meme Monarchy quipped, her hardship is picking the right filter for her Insta story. Then Meghan tried humor. Big mistake. Her jokes were so dry they could soak up a spilled latte. Picture an HR training video trying to be edgy. That's her stand-up game. She probably Googled how to be funny at events and ran with a WikiHow listicle. At this 2025 appearance, the audience wasn't laughing. They were fake coughing and checking their phones to escape the silence. Ex-posts like one from a Cringe Central called her comedic timing worse than a tax seminar. Meghan's punchlines landed with the enthusiasm of a mandatory corporate retreat. Even dad jokes look like Chris Rock at the Apollo compared to this. The press coverage of Meghan is a Shakespearean mess. She's painted as the victim while Kate Middleton's cast as the villain, even bringing flowers to apologize after a supposed spat. A 2025 Daily Mail piece revisited this, framing Meghan as perpetually wronged. Meanwhile, she's demanding the palace squash every negative story, as if public figure means immune to criticism. Her whining makes Harry's memoir read like Hamlet. Ex-users like Media Madness slammed her for crying wolf over every headline. The audience at her event looked like hostages, praying it was performance art. It wasn't. It was just Meghan being Meghan. Enter Megyn Kelly, gliding in like a verbal exorcist with a laser-guided nonsense detector. No screaming, no drama, just a single elegant reality check that made Meghan's emotional circus implode like a botched souffle. Kelly, known for her 2023 ex-post calling out Meghan's victim act, peeled back the fake designer bag sticker. This wasn't advocacy, it was attention-drenched performance art. Meghan wasn't shining a light, she was installing a chandelier over her own ego. Ex-users like Kelly's Corner cheered, saying, Meghan just ended her with facts. Kelly's roast was so precise it left Meghan's PR team scrambling for damage control. Why was Megyn, Miss Princess of Privacy, out that night? To accept another award from a far-left Gloria Steinem fan club, praising her strength and resilience. Strength? Resilience? This is the woman who spun a paparazzi snap into a near catastrophe for sympathy points. A 2025 ex-post from R-Truth-Teller22 scoffed, "She's resilient like a $90 candle is essential." The award, tied to her 2025 charity work, was less about impact and more about stroking her ego. Kelly nailed it. Megyn doesn't embody those words, and no kid should look to her as a role model. It was Saint Megyn, the musical, and the reviews were brutal. The irony of Megyn preaching authenticity is comedy gold. She lectures on being real while draped in a stylist-curated outfit and reading a speech ghost-written by a buzzword studies major. She's a royal shapeshifter, Oprah one day, Marie Kondo with a tiara the next. Now she's launching Duchess Goop, peddling $90 candles that smell like emotional growth. A 2025 Forbes piece called her as ever brand Gwyneth Paltrow light. Ex-users like Irony Overload mocked her for selling sincerity in a boutique bottle. Authentic? She's as genuine as a crypto scammer's LinkedIn profile. Whispers in the publishing world, per a 2025 Vanity Fair report, say Megyn's team floated a post-divorce book concept not because she's splitting from Harry, but to gauge interest in a hypothetical life after Harry tell-all. It's peak Megyn, planning her next act before the current one's even done. She struts into events like a Hallmark heroine finding her truth in Malibu, but she's no underdog. Ex-post from All Gossip Guru quipped, she's already scripting her solo comeback. She's the uninvited motivational speaker crashing a brunch, demanding applause while everyone checks their watches. Megyn's supporting women mantra is a masterclass in selective feminism. It's all photo ops at charity visits and Instagram quotes that sound like ChatGPT on an inspirational bender. She'll lift women up, unless they're Kate Middleton or anyone who dares question her. A 2025 Daily Express piece revisited her royal exit, noting her disdain for ribbon-cutting duties. She swapped Buckingham Palace for a TikTok fantasy of royalty, thinking she'd be the Beyoncé of expats. Instead, we got lukewarm tea and logo-embossed tote bags. Ex-users like Feminist Fail called her the queen of performative sisterhood. Megyn's crying act is pure Hollywood. She wipes her dry eyes, begging us to see her heart, but zoom in, there's no tear. A 2025 ex-post from our drama decoder exposed her one-tap left eye cry-on-demand trick, calling it an actor's scam. She's turned every issue into a personal trauma. Climate change reminds her of being snubbed at Balmoral. Inequalities like the royals not funding her podcast. It's Olympic-level delusion, making everything about her. Ex-users like our Tear Tracker mocked her for crying harder over a bad review than a global crisis. The performance is tiring, and the audience is over it. Megyn had it all. A fairy tale, a global platform, universal adoration, and chucked it like yesterday's kale wrap. She didn't want to join the royal family, she wanted to star in it. When Megyn Kelly held up a mirror, the Markle machine short-circuited, sparking PR statements, grainy casual farmers market photos in $2,000 athleisure, and a 15-point "I'm so hurt" manifesto. A 2025 Netflix renewal for her show hints at her next rebrand, Reclaiming My Voice Again, Part 4, starring her chickens and Oprah. Megyn's the cautionary tale of mistaking Instagram likes for influence, and no candle line or wellness retreat will unhumiliate that punchline.